WrestleMania weekend concluded last night with night two. 6 matches were on the card, and I can honestly say it blew night one completely out of the water. So if you haven't seen WrestleMania yet, just forget about night one with the exception of a couple of matches. Just go watch night two. Night two delivered from start to finish. Let's just go ahead and get into it. First match right off the bat, as Paul Heyman described it, the real main event. Obafemi took on Brock Lesnar. This was a short match and it didn't need to be long. Just two giant men clashing against one another, and they told an incredible story. Brock Lesnar being the conqueror, the destroyer. That was who he has been for the better part of 20, 25 years. He wanted to continue to assert his dominance, and here's the young upstart of Obafemi who stood 10 toes down and said, I'm going to look you eye to eye, and I am going to beat you. I'm going to conquer you. And that's exactly what Obafemi did. They came out, they butted heads right from the beginning. Obafemi no-sold clotheslines from Brock Lesnar and hit one of his own. They went toe-to-toe, went outside the ring for a little while. Brock Lesnar seemingly got the upper hand and actually hit Oba with an F5. Oba completely got up, no-sold it. And from that point on, it was all Obafemi hits Brock with the chokeslam and then his finisher to pick up the win. Oba celebrated in the ring to a massive ovation. As soon as he walked into the ring, though, he got the biggest pop of the night. And then the wild part happened. Brock Lesnar took off his gloves, took off his shoes, and seemingly let everyone know in Allegiant Stadium that, hey, this is it for me. I've been the number one guy for so long. Maybe it's time for me to just hang it up. And he walks out with Paul Heyman. The thing that was really interesting was the real emotion that Brock Lesnar showed. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. And to see him fighting back tears and tears eventually falling, him hugging Paul Heyman, him shaking hands with fans as he walked up the ramp, taking that one last look at the ring. It was just amazing to watch this guy who's been, this monster for so long to really show that type of emotion was really something to see. So is this the last of Brock Lesnar? Not sure, but it looked like he was hanging him up. So if this is the last of Brock Lesnar, it's been an incredible career for him. Next up, we had the Intercontinental title ladder match. And man, when I tell you this thing delivered, all 6 competitors were just there. They all had their time to shine. There were some wicked spots. Javon Evans is a star. That OG cutter that he hit off of Rusev, where he jumped off the top rope to nail Rusev, it was just incredible. I mean, everybody looked great. Rey Mysterio looked good. Rusev was there for the power. JD McDonough had an incredible showing. Dragon Lee was there. And Penta, through all of that, was able to retain his Intercontinental title. This was probably one of my favorite matches of the entire weekend. Ladder matches typically don't disappoint, but this one really had everything that you could possibly want in a ladder match. Right after that was Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Sami came out to a chorus of boos, which you kind of expect, as he's really been leaning into this heel role. And even though Trick is supposed to be something of a heel, another thunderous ovation when his music hit. And he and Sami really put on a good match. They told a wonderful story. And at the end of the day, just when it looked like Sami was about to hit the haluva kick, Trick Williams responds with his shot, able to get the pin, and you got a new United States champion. It was everything that you needed to be for a young star on the rise. Between Obafemi and between Trick Williams and between Javon Evans, the main roster really has a core group of 3 young stars that are ready to take WWE to the next level. They can conceivably just run the main event for the next 10 years. I mean, that's how highly I think of all 3. The next match after that was the Demon, Finn Balor. We finally got the Demon back. I will say they spoiled the surprise. I think you should have saved that for his actual entrance because it would have hit more when you see Demon Finn Balor. because there's a mystique with that. He and Dom had a really good match as well. Like I said, his entrance as the demon was really cool with the streamers that were coming down. That was pretty awesome. They got some time to flesh out, their story. Dom's entrance was pretty cool as well as he came out on like a throne being carried by people. And then of course Finn Balor getting the win as a demon was the right call. Interesting enough, no Judgment Day interference. That's going to be explored, hopefully beginning tonight with the Raw after WrestleMania. Then we get to our fifth match of the night, which was Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. And I have to say, I was a bit worried heading into this match because the promos and the lead up going into this match was not great at all. This was probably the match that I was least interested in seeing because I was just unsure if Jade would be able to step up and be able to perform on that big of a stage. I know this is her third WrestleMania, but this is really her first WrestleMania match where a title is on a line and it is a high profile match. She delivered and she worked well with Rhea Ripley and they told a pretty good story. This was Jade's best match probably of her career and she was up to the task. She was able to go toe to toe with Rhea Ripley. But again, mommy's back on top. She was able to get the win after being able to wiggle her way out of the Jaded and turned it into the Riptide for the 1, 2, 3. Rhea did get some help from Io Sky when it looked as though the 3-on-1 with Jade's group would once again take advantage of the situation, but Io Sky made the save, and that was the reason why Rhea got the win. Overall, though, a really good match between the two. I will give credit where credit is due to both ladies. Rhea, she's a superstar. She's going to do what she can do in that ring and really just, carry a match. But Jade was more than up to the task. So I'm going to give her props too. Awesome job. And then finally, the main event of WrestleMania. CM Punk putting his World Heavyweight title on the line against the OTC Roman Reigns. This thing had drama dripping from start to finish. Roman Reigns' entrance, he always does these elaborate entrances. This one was no different with pianos and singers, and it was pretty cool. But when you heard the OG theme for Roman Reigns, you knew this was go time, and he delivered on that entrance. And then CM Punk one-upped him. Now, for those who have been CM Punk fans for quite some time, you kind of figured he was going to have something up his bag, and he did. Started the entrance with his theme song from his Ring of Honor days, and I'm telling you, I got chills. For those who've been watching wrestling that long, when you hear that song from CM Punk going back to his ROH days, you get excited. He mixed that in with recorded footage of him on top of Allegiant Stadium. It was just awesome. I'm sure it's up on YouTube right now. Go watch it. That entrance from CM Punk was like the stuff of legends. They get inside, and then for almost a half hour, they killed it. I mean, whatever thoughts you had coming into last night on how bad night one was, they more than made up for it for night two. And this is what you depend upon your superstars to do. Be able to carry a main event, be able to tell a story, be able to have the in-ring action that can back up what was, a fiery feud, a blood feud heading into it. And Punk and Roman were just incredible throughout the match. It was what I really needed it to be. One, from the in-ring perspective that, Punk was able to keep up with Roman. Two, that Roman didn't need any outside interference. What I had been talking about for quite some time was that Roman needed to do this by himself without interference from anyone, and he got it done. He became ruthless. He became unforgiving. He hadn't used his guillotine move in quite some time. He had to use it against CM Punk. He had to put CM Punk down, and he did. He is back as the World Heavyweight Champion, back on top of the throne, as he said he would do. So congrats to Roman and congrats to Punk, because much has been made about Punk's age, especially through the promos, but CM Punk shows you why he is the superstar that he is. So congratulations to both of those men. That's probably one of the best main event matches I have seen in quite some time. Both men really, really delivered. So again, overall, night two absolutely washed night one. Again, from night one, just take the Drew Jacob Fatu match and the Seth Rollins Gunther match. Those are the only two matches you really need to watch from night one. Everything else on night two absolutely delivered. And it pretty much saved WrestleMania weekend. Now we get to what happens tonight on the Raw after WrestleMania. Will there be call ups from NXT? Roman said he's going to be there. I'm sure he's got a lot of stuff to say. He had some stuff to say on the post game last night where he looked dead in the camera and answered Obafemi's challenge. Could we be seeing that feud? I don't think so, at least not yet. But the way Obafemi performed and the way that the crowd is just loving this dude, don't be surprised if you see that matchup before the end of the year. All right, let me know what you think.